I call my sugar candy because I'm sweet on candy and candy's sweet on me. He understands me, my understanding candy, and candy's always handy when I need sympathy. I wish that there were more of him, so I could love much more of him. He has taken my complete heart, got a sweet tooth for my sweetheart.
What are you doing?
The United States government is unfair to organized taxpayers.
Really? How's it going?
The money's going constantly.
Irate taxpayers. Lovely seat.
Yeah, the title of this scene is Mother Strikes Back.
Mine, oh, mine.
Mother, I think you're fighting a losing battle.
I've just begun to fight.
Look, Mother, give him the $2.
Oh.
Mr. Gunn?
Won't you sit down? Maybe a drink would help calm those nerves.
No, I'm afraid it'll take more than a drink. I'm Mrs. Bud Bailey. Perhaps you know my husband.
No, I'm a big fan.
So was I once.
Mrs. Bailey?
Sorry. I've been married to Bud almost 12 years. It's hard to believe it.
What?
That he hates me?
Did he tell you that?
No. It isn't what he tells me. It's how he acts. What he's planning to do.
What's that?
Kill me.
That's quite an accusation.
He had a call at the first of the week. I overheard some of the conversation. The man's an insurance agent from the Hastings Company. They were talking about a policy, a big one, $150,000.
A lot of insurance.
I think it's on my life.
You know that?
No. Didn't hear all of the conversation.
Well, Mrs. Bailey, Bud couldn't take out an insurance policy without your consent and your signature.
He'll get around to asking for it. And when he does, he'll have a convincing story. He always does when he wants something.
Well, as long as you don't sign anything.
Well, what am I supposed to do, Mr. Gunn? Just wait? Sit around wondering what he's thinking when it's going to happen?
What can I do for you?
Would you talk to him? See if you can find a reason. He's always been sort of intense and withdrawn, completely wrapped up in his music. But he's never been as bad as this.
I'll drop by. What's the address?
411 Large.
And, I think it might be a good idea if I talk to him alone.
Won't be any problem. I'm on my way to my brother's. I'll stay there until this is over. I'm afraid.
Well, why don't you give me your brother's number? I'll get back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Gunn.
We'll see how it comes out.
Did you get her phone number?
Her brother's.
Sure it is. You know, you could make $1 million just like that.
Could I?
Mm-hmm. Little black book. Sell your memoirs to the movies.
Yeah. Starring Edie Hart.
My big chance at last. Obviously, I move you.
Oh, honey, I have to go out into the night and fight the good fight.
Oh, boy.
You, hold a kind thought and keep a warm heart.
The warm heart I've got.
It's mine, and nobody plays this one but me.
Sorry.
What's on your mind?
Just thought we'd have a talk.
About what?
Understand you're having some troubles.
Well, I usually have my troubles alone, so,
Murder one of your troubles?
And what was that for?
Laughs?
My wife send you?
Maybe.
Get lost.
You may be the star, but she's got the manners.
And she's got some great ideas, too. What'd she do, tell you that I was going to kill her?
Maybe.
Oh, man, that's a laugh. It's a real laugh, man.
She didn't seem to think so.
Yeah, well, there she goes, flattering herself again. Kill her, man, I don't even talk to her. Yeah, nobody's worth that. Yeah, she's... nobody. Only Bud Bailey. Now, there's a commodity on the open market. And all the little butchers want their piece. My agent, my manager, my sight men, my wife.
Sounds like a pretty discouraging picture.
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking. And you see all of this? Now, I made it. With this. But let me stop blowing, man. It all disappeared. Like it never was here. But I gotta keep pushing, working all the time.
Vicious circle.
Yeah. Sometimes I hear.
What do you hear, Bud?
Too many people ask me questions. Will you get out of here?
Oh, look, Bailey.
Now get out of here! No!
Why don't you pull yourself together, Bud?
Pete, don't you ever conduct any business in the daytime?
Oh, I'm sorry to disturb you this late at night, George.
Let's see. Bailey's policy met the underwriting requirements in the amount of $150,000.
His wife signed it?
She didn't have to sign it. The policy is on his life. She's the beneficiary.
No, my sister hasn't been here. I haven't seen her in over a month.
She said she was on her way over here. Gave me this address.
Yeah? What else did she say to you?
About what?
About that famous horn player she's married to?
You don't like him.
Oh, it doesn't matter what I like. I'm just a mechanic. He's an artist. If you don't believe me, just ask him. I'll tell you one thing, mister. I may live in grease up to my elbows, but I'm a lot cleaner than he is. I never treated anybody the way he treats people.
Clay, have you got any idea where she went?
Probably out someplace driving herself crazy. If they had another fight. I'll tell you one thing. If he's laid a hand on her, or hurt her in any way, I'll...
Now, Clay, take it easy.
I'll kill him.
Pete? How's it rocking, Andy?
Jumping easy. Manager said you wanted to see me.
About Bud Bailey.
Not while I'm smoking.
He seems to be a little short on friends.
Funny. Didn't used to be that way. Like when we started. He was a real good guy then, one of the best. Easy. He could ride with the punches. You could talk to him.
What happened?
You tell me, Pete. What happens to a guy after his name means something?
Sometimes they just get nicer.
Not Bud. Look at us. Caesar didn't cross the Rubicon tonight, so the peasants play alone.
That happen often?
Once in a while. But it's become a habit this last month. You don't know how to act with the guy these days. He's on the grog, on our backs. Forgets to sign the checks.
Andy, Bud's wife. I've been trying to locate her. Does she come in here often? Listen to him play?
I used to. Yeah, she used to sit out there like a kid listening. His best audience. I guess she gave up, too.
Do you know where I can find her?
Well, if they had a beef, maybe she headed for the cabin.
Where's that?
A little summer place of theirs. In the woods near Three Corners.
Thanks, Andy.
For what?
Keep 'em swinging.
Help you, mister?
What happened?
Somebody lit a match.
This Bud Bailey's cabin?
Was.
America's #1 trumpet, Bud Bailey.
Pretty sad solo.
When did you see Bud last?
At his house. He was in bad shape.
Bad enough to commit suicide? It could be that. It could also be murder.
Well, I think I'll keep looking for my client.
Feel free. Save you one stop, though. We've got a couple of men covering the house in case she shows. Smoke your own. These are reserved for suspects we're trying to cajole or nervous prisoners who need security. Visiting captains. Here.
don't get it.
What?
Well, it doesn't make sense she'd come to me with that story if she were planning to kill her husband.
$150,000 makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but why involve me? She's opening up an area that has nothing to do with it.
We're not concerned with real estate. We're concerned with Mrs. Bailey.
Well, I think I'll have a look around.
It's amazing.
Lieutenant, what happened? They said my husband.
Have a chair, Mrs. Bailey. There's no gentle way of asking this. But do you recognize those effects?
Yes, they're Bud's. What happened? Please, what happened?
There was a fire in your cabin.
Bud?
Mrs. Bailey, I've been trying to locate you all evening. Now, would you mind telling the lieutenant where you've been? You didn't go to your brother's place.
No, I changed my mind. I just drove.
Where?
I don't know. I was upset and I just drove around. What's that got to do with Bud?
This isn't going to be very pleasant, Mrs. Bailey, but we're going to have to hold you.
For what?
The murder of your husband.
Anything?
Yeah, Mrs. Bailey uses green ink.
Lieutenant, you're a crackerjack.
Hey, do me a favor, will you?
Sure.
Be careful. It'll be very embarrassing if we have to dust the house for prints and come up with only yours.
What are you doing, Lieutenant? Catching up on old love letters?
It depends on your version of love. Listen to this. There's one thing I can't understand, darling. Why you want me to take out so much insurance. $150,000 is a lot of money.
Bud Bailey to Mrs. Bailey?
Yeah. Probably wrote it to her while he was on tour. Postmarked last month. Variation on the same theme.
Sweetheart, I don't know why you're so insistent about that large insurance policy.
Postmarked 2 weeks ago. Well, that's it. Let's be tidy, shall we?
Wait a minute.
So?
Think that mud would match the ground around the cabin?
If it does, Mrs. Bailey's going to have a very short trial.
Do me a favor. Get me some prints.
From this?
From Bud Bailey. Or what's left of it. Pretty.
Pretty sad.
What are you complaining about? With the condition of the body, getting that should get you the Battalion Award.
You never miss.
What?
It gets late, I get tired, you still have a basket full of funnies.
Just paying you a compliment.
For what? I bring a single print like this into court, I'll be able to prove only one thing.
What?
I haven't got the other 4 fingers. This isn't evidence, it's guesswork. Anything?
The lab's been running it through. We may have a match here. Index finger, right hand. Funny thing, though.
Doesn't come up Bud Bailey.
No. Some skid row bum named Chambers. We've picked him up a couple of times for playing drunk.
Got an address?
Some rooming trap over on 2nd Street.
See you later.
We'll go together.
Where are you going, Bud? Where are you trying to run to now?
So close. So close.
What was?
To being free. To getting away from them. All of them. Maybe these sounds would stop.
What sounds, Bud?
Oh, I got a little hammer inside my head. I can't shake it. I can't make it stop. And don't you understand? I can't play, not with these noises.
Did you ever think of seeing a doctor, Bud?
A head doctor, a specialist. No. I'm just beat. I'm tired. They caused it.
They?
Yeah. All of them. My wife, the leeches, the money grabbers. Oh, my wife was the worst. She hated me because I was something. She wasn't anything.
I think she loves you, Bud.
The only thing she loved was what she could get out of me.
You must really hate her. Hate her pretty badly to have her arrested for your murder.
And it was easy. I found some bum down in Skid Row that was my size. I gave him a bottle of wine and took him up to the cabin.
You planted that shoe in your wife's closet. And the letters.
Yeah. Just wrote new letters and put them in some old envelopes. It was so simple. What went wrong? How did I miss?
Most murderers miss. It's an occupational hazard.
Like this.
You wanted to be alone?